The NBA draft is less than 24 hours away. Heck, when you're watching this, maybe the draft has already happened. But before the draft, we got another Spurs rumor. Or do we?
Go Spurs, go, 'cause the Giants stink.
What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. To my Spurs fans out in New England, hope you're staying cool. It is a scorcher here with over 100-degree weather. Feels like 110. We're not used to this. Anyways, my boss talked about this morning with me, saying, hey, the Spurs have interest in KP. And I was like, I'm seeing some articles pop up, so we got to cover it. Normally, I'd say I'll go over the article and then give my spiel about whether I want the player or not. It's quite obvious how I feel about this, but I want to dig into the article because there's a few other parts of this I want to address. This is from Air Alamo. NBA insider Jake Fisher just revealed that San Antonio has exploratory talks about trading for KP. It sounds like they're going for a center that can start next to Victor Wembanyama, who doesn't prefer to play the 5. However, he has also reported that Jake was reported that he was told it was unlikely the Spurs would pull the trigger on a deal. So you're saying there's a chance? Unlikely? Maybe, maybe not. Let's dig a little deeper. The former New York Knick has only played over 70 games once in his career, and it was rookie season. That's not a stat you like to read, guys. In the last 5 seasons, starting with the one that just ended, KP has played in 42, 57, 65, 51, and 43 games. All right, that's even worse. That is terrible. You guys all know how I feel. If you've been here, if you haven't been here, I don't like players with big contracts, KP, Lowry Markkanen, that can't stay healthy and on the court. However, the other enticing part of this would be that he's just under contract in regards to KP at $30 million for one more season. So if the Spurs wanted to just clear money next season, that would help them do it if there was someone else in their sights. So we'll throw this out there. What if the Spurs could do a 1-for-1? Salary match would be Devin Vassell. A lot of you say you'd like to move on from Devin Vassell. Would you trade Devin Vassell and his contract if the Celtics were willing? They don't need more guards. But would you unload Devin Vassell for KP? Straight up, maybe throw a second-round pick in there or 2 second-round. We have plenty of second-round picks. Throw a couple second-rounders in there and make the move. Would you do that? Without knowing that for certain what the trade package would be, the price isn't worth the risk. I agree. Too risky. Don't risk this for the biscuit. Other reports about what they may be looking at the 14th pick tells us that they want to move Wembanyama back to the power forward spot, though. There has, however, been tangible noise about the Spurs looking at various big men with the number 14 overall pick in Wednesday's draft, provided that they keep that pick. That's a giant question mark, too. Will they do what they did last year with the 8th pick? They drafted Rob Dillingham for the Timberwolves and then traded said pick to Minnesota for, was it a 2031 pick or pick swap? I don't remember. Something in 2031, right? This is not the first time that our Spurs have been rumored to be interested in a big in that middle draft area. Interest in so many centers tells us that Wemby is going to get his wish. He'd rather not exclusively play center, and it looks like the front office is trying to oblige that request. Listen, Wemby as a 4, he's got to be about 7'6" now. It's 7'6", stretch 4. That's defensive player of the year talent. I mean, he's unguardable now. They're going to put a center on him defensively. Yeah, he's going to be the irresistible force and immovable object. But we need a good, legit player that can play the 5, and Zach Collins was not him. And KP just can't stay healthy, so this is a big no. I don't know what the Spurs are going to do. Could we make a play at Miles Turner? I mean, the Pacers. Who knows what the Pacers are going to do now? Tyrese Halliburton ruptured his Achilles. Get what? So many players rupturing their Achilles in the playoffs this year. All in the Eastern Conference, all wearing 0. Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, and Tyrese Halliburton. Weird. Just weird. Could Miles Turner be available? Could the Pacers go, you know what, we can't run this back. Our best players out. Maybe they start clearing house. Who the heck knows what's going to happen in this offseason? But the option for the Spurs to draft a center is certainly there tomorrow night. Looking at draft boards, players that should be available at 14, Thomas Sorber, Danny Wolf, Joan Behringer, and Maxime Reynaud. I think Reynaud will be able to reach at 14. Doesn't mean the Spurs don't do it. And we talked about it on the channel, or maybe they trade down a little bit. Who the heck knows? But if they want one of the top centers in this draft, they're going to have to move up from the 14th pick. And to get my lunch, who we call him on this channel because we read an article where Malawatch was auto-corrected to my lunch. I think it was actually Air Alamo. Seems like their autocorrect or their editor's missing some stuff. And hey, look, I'm not perfect either, but this is your job. This is just a hobby for me. Anyway, if we want my lunch, I think we're going to have to move up between 6 and 9 unless something crazy happens and he drops to 14, then boom, draft him just like that, but not likely. And if the Spurs want a queen for their castle, appears you need to move up probably between 9 and 12. But when I sit back here and think about the future Spurs fans, you got to think about the salary cap. We can't overlook that when we're planning out our dynasty. I can't see future salaries for 2 top 10 picks. Let's say that they do move up and they draft Harper at 2 and my lunch at 9 or 8, whatever. That just doesn't seem doable when you look at the contracts of Wemby, who's going to be on a supermax before you know it, and Castle, who's a 4th overall pick. He can have a big contract too. I can't see us moving up from 14. I know there's little blips out there. Maybe the Spurs move up from 14. I see us drafting a player at 14 or just shipping that pick out entirely, whether it's for future draft capital or maybe we can get a role player, some sort of vet that a team doesn't need and is maybe in a soft rebuild or a total rebuild, and we can bring in some depth to the team. We need to bring in size. That's one thing this team, Brian Wright absolutely needs to do. I see a lot of you saying TSR, Cedric Coward at 14. Yeah, I like the talent, I like the potential, but I get drafting ability or best player available over fit with stay away from ace, but drafting Dylan Harper at 2. But at 14, we got to take a big. I know Carter Bryant's been mocked to us a lot. He might not even be there at 14, but we really need to get size on this team unless they do something in free agency. I don't know how the season's going to play out. Obviously, only Brian Wright and company know how it's going to play out. I like the moves they've been doing with the assistant coaches. We're very lucky to have the 2nd overall pick, but let's not bail out the Celtics, who are on a bad contract with Caitlin. Not a bad, well, yeah, I guess a bad contract. $30+ million a year for a player that plays about half the season. I mean, I think Portland really just did the Celtics a solid. Kevin Durant may be older and expensive, but man, getting out of Jalen Green's contract, the Rockets must be like, whew, thank you very much. So it's going to be a crazy offseason. I don't know how much Spurs are going to do. I don't have any type of insider information because I don't have any connections here in Connecticut, but I'm excited to do this, to talk our team as much as possible over the next few weeks. And then we'll be off in the summer once everything cools down, and I'll probably just cover the Yankees and the Giants a little bit, and who the heck knows, the random Spurs video if some kind of news pops up. We'll be live tomorrow night, me and Miss TSR and the Couch Contingent. I don't know if we should go live at 8 p.m. Eastern because the draft coverage starts on ESPN 8, or just go live a half hour early so we can catch up, talk Spurs, talk, who we'd like to draft, who we don't want, what we don't want to see happen, etc. Thoughts on possibly next season, free agents, etc. Because once the draft starts, well, we'll have time between picks. How long is the draft tomorrow night? Is it 2 hours or 3 hours? It should not be 3 hours. It's only 30 picks, which means it's probably going to be 3 hours. So I'm bouncing back and forth on whether we're going to go early or not, but I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow night. It's been a while since we've been live. KP, sorry. No thanks. Drop a comment down below on thoughts on everything we went over. Hit the TSR Sports channel. Subscribe to be part of our awesome Spurs community. Thank you, and as always, go Spurs, go.
Go Spurs, go, 'cause the Giants